You're listening to FAMcast, the For All Manakind podcast, with your hosts, the competitive spirit, Trey Simpson, our own devil's advocate, Tim Weber, and the hopelessly optimistic Trevor Jorgensen. This is FAMcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 89, and we're already back with our second review. We had so much fun doing the Loop Hero review. It's a nice change of pace in these podcast episodes, so we decided to do another. We even decided to wear the exact same clothes we wore for the Loop Hero review.
I haven't showered in a week.
it's been a month. It's been a month. I can't believe it. No, we're all excited to be back and talk about. It sounds kind of silly saying it because I know we just talked about how much we really loved Loop Hero with it being a surprise. This is one I think we were all just to kind of differentiate the two. We were all looking forward to this one already.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Like we were all very much excited for the next like mainline Monster Hunter game.
Absolutely.
And I knew I was going to pick it up. I did not expect to get into this game as much as I did. I don't even want to know how many hours I've put in. I think it's close to 200 at this point.
That's fantastic, Trevor. Good
job. So we all dived into Monster Hunter, which it's the first mainline game since Monster Hunter World launched on Xbox One and PS4, and a little different because it only came out on the Switch this time.
Yes.
Which I think in itself was kind of surprising, but it's not bad. You know, like I think some people might have had expectations because performance isn't really the same on the two consoles.
Yep, I was one of them. I fully expected this to be Monster Hunter Lite, like Monster Hunter World Lite.
Yeah.
Well, it's not 100%. The first Monster Hunter on the Switch. Double X did come out on the Switch. I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree. But like, I felt like Monster Hunter World was very ambitious of them taking it to like that kind of level of like really taking Monster Hunter to the next level with World. And this was essentially presented the same way. And I was like, well, because in my mind, like if Monster Hunter World was not good enough to be on the Switch, like it was, or it's too much to be on the Switch. What makes this any different?
Sure.
How is this gonna be better than that? You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That was my mind for that going. I literally thought this was Monster Hunter World Lite when I was buying it, but I was okay with it because it was portable.
Yeah, the portability is a big factor too. But I think I had the same expectation that it's going to be light. It's going to be a slimmed down version. We're going to be missing some things. If anything, it's better than World.
We've gained things.
100%. Yeah.
It's
if
so
anything,
good.
it is better than Monster Hunter World. I feel like I don't know. There's just so many quality of life improvements from World. Like I know World in itself had quality of life improvements. Those carried over to Rise, and now we have even more. That have just made this game the best Monster Hunter game I've ever gotten hands on with. It's I don't even know. Let me pass it over to you guys because I don't even know where to begin. I've gotten. I guess I'll just preface that with I have gotten all the way to Monster Hunter rank 7, which is the current cap, and I'm anxiously awaiting some DLC because it is. I can't stop playing it.
Well, we should be getting that soon.
Yeah, we should be getting that at the end of April.
Comedios.
But to kick it off, first impressions. What did you guys think with your first? I guess we're almost about 3 weeks in with Monster Hunter Rise now.
Go for it, Tim.
Okay, so I once I booted it up again, expecting what I was expecting, I was instantly surprised by the quality of gameplay. Right, I was like, oh wow, this plays just like Monster Hunter World does. And I was hesitant on the, what are the bugs called? What are they called?
Wire bug.
Wire bugs.
Wire bug. I was hesitant on that watching the videos on. I'm like, well, how often will I actually use this, right? Like, sure, it's in the game. I get it. You're adding something extra. But I'm like, I probably won't use that because I'd rather just do it how I do in the normal game. Oh, no, I use it all the time. Like constantly jumping around, flipping around, doing things. And then on top of that, I got a dog I get to ride in places. Like, what? Like, because you get a Palico, you get, what's the dog? What's it called?
Palamute.
A Palamute. You get one of them, and they're both with you. First impressions, very, very good. Very impressed by everything that we got. There are a couple things that I feel like we did miss, or that I feel like we're kind of meh, but we'll get into that in a bit. But overall, my first impression was, holy crap, this is the full Monster Hunter World experience in a handheld version. I am sold. Like, it was so good.
Yeah. I do like that the Palicos were always cool, getting to customize those, and they have their own armor and weapons. You can customize all that and go out. But to have a second companion this time around, and not only a fighting companion, because it fights along with you, but you also ride it, which makes it so much easier to get around. Yes. Not that it was ever something that discouraged me in Monster Hunter World, but whenever you load a map and the target monster's like on the opposite end, you're like, okay, like it's going to be a little bit till I get there. And by then, who knows, I might move around. Because I don't think that's ever been a huge issue, because you can unlock the sub camps and everything. It's just nice to have that option to get around a lot faster, especially when the monster flees and you can kind of chase it down full speed.
Yeah, the monster riding, I think, they added it in World, at least the tail end of World, where you could ride on some of like the lesser monsters, and you can ride them to other monsters. So I think they took that as like a beta for Rise, and then ended up putting it in the game. But yeah, like they were saying, I mean the game's fantastic. I think the only issues that I have, I get a little overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that you can do in the game, just like with the submarine, the training other, like your Palamutes and Palicos, making your own necklace thing, the charms. There's just a lot, but I think overall, I think it's a fun game. The wyvern riding, whatever you want to call it, is super cool. I mean, who doesn't want to ride a Rathalos and fight a Barroth or something? It's something that sets it apart from the other games. And as a longtime Monster Hunter player, it's a nice change of pace for the game in general, I guess. And it's just a lot of fun. I don't know. I like the Nintendo or like the handheld ones always have like really, really fun mobility, or like they throw in like the hardcore like anime aspects of it, where like I think Double X had like super like ability supers, like at the end of each weapon had like a super that they could use, which was like super cool. This one, each weapon has 2 wire bug moves, which is even better, because I mean, just having the mobility in that game is it's godlike,
and you can unlock more.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't either. It's cool enough to have these switch skills to where you use the wire bugs for these heavy damage attacks. But to be able to unlock more through certain like side quests was really, really cool. Because then not only are you like me and Tim could both play Switch X, but we could play it entirely different depending on which switch skills we get, which I think just adds to the customization that this game offers.
Everybody wants to be different. We're all 4 and a part, we all want a different part. We all want to do something different. We want to bring to the table something someone doesn't help. And if me and Trevor like the same weapon, this helps us still do that while not having to trade off on the weapon that we don't want to get rid of.
Yep. Absolutely. It's and I agree that it can be if when you're first starting out with this game, I think I think it's the most accessible Monster Hunter that we've seen as far as like newcomers to the series. I think it makes it very easy, especially in single player mode. And you've probably noticed it as well. Single player mode is a lot easier than the Gathering Hub multiplayer missions are.
Yes.
So I think it at least gives people a chance to kind of get used to how Monster Hunter works, and it kind of it feeds you different features little by little. So it doesn't just give you, you don't unlock everything at once. You'll unlock the Meowson areas at a certain point to where you send your buddies off on missions. Then you can craft your talismans later on. I don't know. I think it just does a good job of kind of pacing things out to make it a little less overwhelming for newcomers to the series.
Yeah, no, I agree. So one of my issues actually with the game comes with the single player aspect of it. So coming from someone who played Monster Hunter World pretty much primarily alone, like 95% of the time I played Monster Hunter World alone. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. One of the things I was kind of disappointed about in Rise is you cannot do high rank stuff on those single player missions. And the reason I had an issue with that is, again, if my friends are not on, I'd actually rather hunt alone than with random people, and that's just personal preference, right? And that comes a lot with, well, in Monster Hunter World, when you're playing with random people and all of a sudden Jimbo dies 3 times and you were doing great, it can lead to very frustrating times because hunts are not short. Hunts can be up to 50 minutes. Like, that's a long time that could just be wasted, right? So I'd rather the blame be solely on me at that point than have some random person ruin it for me. And the way I understand how the hub works versus a single player is single player, all the monsters are scaled down to one person being hunting that monster, where when you go into hub, it scales from 2 and 4. So it's always at 2 people. Even if you jump in alone, it's scaled to 2 people. And then if you jump in with 3 people, it's scaled to 4 people. So it has those 2 tiers. Now, that's just my understanding of it. Someone in the comments, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'd be more than happy to know. So my frustration comes then if I choose to play alone and I want to try to, grind some high rank armor, I'm at least a 50% disadvantage because when I jump into that multiplayer hub to get that, it's scaled for 2 hunters, not 1.
Sure. No, I can get that. I don't know. I think it's nice to split it up. I was at least surprised that you couldn't do high rank in single player. Like, it's one thing for it to be easier. Because I think the game at some point does tell you that, the Gathering Hub missions are tougher.
It does.
I think it does tell you that, so you at least aren't surprised when you go in there. But single player, for me, if you look at the two side by side, like you said, one is definitely more difficult. But it's odd that they wouldn't at least give the option for high rank in single player, especially for grinding out certain items. I know I just grinded out my second max rank weapon last weekend, I think, and it was something that I couldn't grind out in single player, which I would have loved to just go into single player, keep doing this back and forth. But like you said, I just kind of have to roll the dice in Gathering Hub, hope it's a good group, and I do think that these hunts tend to be shorter than they were in World. I think on average, most of the hunts that I've done at max rank are probably around anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Whereas in World, I definitely remember some being pretty long. Now granted, we're still just in the first phase of Monster Hunter Rise. I'm sure we'll get some Elder Dragons down the road that are a little bit tougher. And I know you guys, I don't think either of you have seen or at least played the final fights. To where you've seen the bosses. So those play a little bit differently too. So yeah, well, I guess we'll just see what because that could always be something that they unlock in the future is high rank for single player.
I guess my argument would be, I think if you're wanting to do high rank by yourself, you would just lock the room to yourself. So I guess that wouldn't, like, if you're wanting like that difficulty of the hunt, I guess, which I guess I would understand, like, you wouldn't want that difficulty because you're doing the solo, but I think that's the appeal of going into high rank. is that it's harder, so that you'd
It-
either bring other people in, or if it's scaling like we think it is, then it would be just down to you, and that's it. But
Yeah,
I think that's Tim's point, is that he's not just doing high rank though. He's doing high rank for 2 players instead of 1.
correct.
Because
Like
high rank on
World,
itself will be difficult regardless.
Yes,
I just
and
think
in World it wasn't like that. In World, if I went to a high rank thing alone, it was scaled to just me.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think World is the easier game compared to Rise.
Oh, so you're telling me to get good?
yes, get good too.
Okay, I just wanted to make that art. Okay,
Yes,
got
get good. No, it's no, I would agree with you guys. It's I could see where, wanting to hunt alone or doing high rank by yourself is would be something I think they should add. I would agree with that.
because if
But
you don't
I
have
think the
internet,
appeal of Monster Hunter is playing with other people.
Oh, I had a blast playing with you guys. And by the way, speaking of the multiplayer online aspect of it, way better than World when it comes to simplicity.
100%.
Like, so much easier, so much quicker. Like, they got that down.
Yeah.
It's the best multiplayer experience on the Switch. I have not played anything multiplayer on the Switch that has been this fun. I very rarely have had any groups like drop or disconnect or anything like that, to where I've had like stability issues.
Right.
It's very quick to find a hunt. If I queue up for something in the Gathering Hub, I'm in there, 10 to 20 seconds probably.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like they have like that drop in and drop out system, really, because if you have people disconnect, you're going to get brand new people right after that. It's like, it's great. it's fantastic.
Yeah, and to that exact point, in World, it was a little bit different, to where if you didn't join within like the first 5 minutes, you got no rewards.
Yeah.
So you could get in, but you got no, and it told you, hey, look, if you join this, it's too late. You're not going to get rewards. Yeah. I've had several matches where I've jumped in and it's basically dead, and I get full rewards. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, I don't even get to the monsters sometimes.
Yeah, it's great.
And I don't think that's super common. Like Tim said, it's happened a handful of times, but it's definitely not the majority. But sometimes
no one
it's
complains
nice
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something to be mad about.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're doing the high rank stuff and you're grinding for specific pieces. I know I was grinding Nargas for probably 3 hours last weekend while KB was streaming, just looking for one specific piece. And don't get me wrong, it's fun.
Grind, man.
Like even when I'm fighting stuff, it is just talking about the difficulty one last time. It's very interesting being Hunter rank 7 and going back and doing some of the max rank stuff in single player. I'm like barely getting scratched by monsters. Really? Like barely getting scratched, and I'm throwing down like 200 damage on some of these hits. Like it's nice if you need some of those lower rank pieces, but beyond that, it's just interesting, and hopefully they'll add high rank to single player at some point. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I was gonna say, have we even touched on the new game modes that they added to the game? The Siege?
Like the Rampage?
Yeah, that's what they're called. Rampage.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, Rampage is something that you're forced into after like however many missions, right? To where at some point you have to go in and do a Rampage mission. And it is very different from a regular hunt, where it's more tower defense.
Yeah,
yes.
That's exactly what it is.
Love tower defense games too.
Yes, absolutely. So you're basically defending from waves of monsters, and you have to set up various turrets throughout the map, whether they are automated or manual, and you have various traps and I guess like ultimates that you can place down for a limited time as well. All very strategic. And I remember the first time, maybe it wasn't the first time we did one. It could have been the second, but we barely made it through. Like those can be pretty tough.
The big one. What was the big one?
Oh, that was with the Apex. It was our first
Apex.
Yeah,
we were all like, we were flying. It was like,
everything.
This is easy. I don't know what that man was saying. It's going to be difficult. Got through all the waves. And then all of a sudden this big bear came through and just obliterated everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my! And it was it went from being like nothing to a sweat fest. Like my God, it was crazy.
It was extremely difficult. Because it I think just based on that, I think it breaks through that final gate regardless.
I'm pretty sure.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Because then it takes you to, at least on some of these apex levels where you haven't, the final wave is an apex level monster. It breaks through the final gate of the first area. Then you're sent to a second area, and that's kind of your last stand, to where it's a little bit bigger, a little more open, in my opinion. Because in the first stage, you at least have stuff in the middle, and there's more curves as far as more time to hit the monster. But this one, it's basically open, so a little more difficult, and they head straight for that gate. It takes a lot of well placed turrets to get them to back off, but it's
definitely
I definitely don't enjoy it as much as regular hunts, but it's a nice change of pace after you've been grinding out monsters for a couple hours. It's so easy to get lost in just grinding out monsters for whether you are late game or early game. It's hard to put down. Like, this game is very tough to put down.
Yeah.
I think usually when I go over to my girlfriend's for the weekend, and she starts stream around 10 a.m. So I'll get up around that time too. I'll play from 10 a.m. until like 8 o'clock at night. Like, I will just play it straight. It is so good. And I think it's good that they announced this DLC roadmap so early on. Like, they announced this before launch. Awesome. That we know that we are getting additional content, at least for the remainder of the year, and they could always extend it past that. It's been extremely successful so far. I can't see that they wouldn't continue to support it, at least for another year beyond. But we're getting new monsters. They're uncapping the hunter rank. It's all just fantastic stuff.
Now, when you say they're uncapping it, like, it's not like there will not be a hunter rank cap, or it'll be moved up, because in World there's no rank cap, and that's one of the things I thought was really nice, because then you could really, because like, I'm sure you've hunted a lot since you've been a hunter rank 7, or at least more so than whatever, and it was always nice to see like I could jump in and be like, man, Trevor's a hunter rank 25 already. Like, that man has played. So that was one of the nice things about World, is there wasn't a cap. It was just you, like, there was up until you did like certain events throughout the story, but then once you beat it and you did everything, the cap got completely removed, and it was just, and you could show how good, how much you've played via your hunter rank. So I would hope that they will eventually move into that.
Yeah, it's my understanding that it's uncapped, meaning it's not just like going from 7 to 10. I think it is going to be uncapped, like you mentioned. But they do have guild cards, which I don't know if you've looked at, but it's specifically for your hunter, and it breaks down your stats pretty well, and other people can see them. So it's just another way to kind of show that. Like, it breaks down your hunts by weapon, so it shows like how many kills or how many hunts you've gone on with specific weapons, how many times you've killed a Magnamalo versus captured versus killed. So it's a pretty cool stat sheet. Yep. Yeah. And luckily I found that that's the case whenever I play multiplayer. Yes. 9 out of 10 times people always capture, and I'm very grateful for that. That's the way to go, man.
Where it's at.
I haven't had very many bad experiences with other players, luckily.
No, not at all.
So just a great community altogether. And I'm very thankful that there isn't voice chat, because I feel so bad whenever I'm the first one to die. Even if we end up killing it, I always feel just terrible when I'm the first one to knock off one of our lives.
It happens, man.
Yeah,
it happens. But now you don't lose rewards other than money. So
yes, I was always under the impression that you lost like material rewards. I'm like, oh, everyone hates me. That's why we're all here, is to get materials. But if it's just money, you can always get more of that. So
yep.
I think the game is a very aesthetically pleasing too, because I'm a big fan of like the whole Japanese aesthetic. I think that's super cool. Oh man, the music is fantastic.
Yep.
Shout outs to the oh man, what are they called? Dongo?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The Dongo music and
Yeah.
the music or the food always looks so good too.
Yep.
I don't know. It's
I
just it's a
think-
damn good game.
Good game.
That's fun. That's a fun twist on the like the meal mechanic that they always have. You basically get to pick 3 different, for the lack of a better word, power ups, and that's another way, just another way that they're customizing how people can play.
Yeah.
You know, we can pick 3 completely different dongos, still go on the same hunt together. And you can even share dongo with your friends. Like if I have one unlocked that Trey or Tim don't have unlocked, if we hunt together, they can actually use that, which is kind of cool. But yeah, just you get to choose if you want to play defensive or if you want to get additional gathering materials or sharpen faster, whatever you want to do.
Sharpen. I always do sharpen.
So do I.
Always.
Yeah, just overall, I think there's a lot of quality of life buffs. But Tim, you mentioned one. I think we were discussing it outside of this, but they added perma buffs, like these little bugs that you can get.
Yes, throughout the map that you play.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So I get why they're there, and like the thing about them is like I get it. I never noticed them. I never noticed that my hunt was different with or without them. If they were on the way, like let's say I'm going in a straight line and I could see one that if I veer left just a little bit, I could grab it. I would do that. But I never went out of my way to go searching for them before the hunt. So like I get the point behind them. I'm not saying they're a bad addition. Like it's not hurting me that they're there. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad that they're there. But I don't go out of my way to go searching for them because I don't feel like it ever affected my hunt enough to justify it.
Yeah. Yep. I would probably agree with that. I think I get them just because it's like, especially as I'm riding on my Palamute, it's just something to like get along the way, you know?
Yeah. If they're along the way,
yeah.
Nothing to detract from the hunt.
But yeah, I'm not like stacking them up before I face a monster because I'm worried I can't take it or anything.
Right.
And I as a my first Monster Hunter was Try, I believe, and then I played World. So this is my 3rd Monster Hunter technically. So a lot of these monsters are kind of new to me. I'm not sure which ones are new to the franchise as a whole. But overall, they do such a good job with these monster designs. Like they're all so unique.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most exciting things for me is after killing a new monster, going straight to the blacksmith afterwards. And it's like, what does this armor or weapon look like?
Yep. That's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's always that's one of the most exciting things after you kill something, especially something you know that's kind of that like an end of tier boss, you know?
Yes.
You're like, oh, this is going to be good for sure.
Yes.
The only and I hate even calling it a complaint because the only thing I would like to see, because you can upgrade your weapons. Like if I use the Magnamalo axe, the Switch X, I can upgrade it multiple times, but the look stays the same. I do wish that they were, even if it's just minor, like add some spikes or whatever it is. Spikes. Like whatever it is, I would like to see at least some cosmetic difference between them. Even if it's just to like when you're hunting with your friends, they can be like, oh, whoa, that must be like the max level Magnamalo axe.
Give it a glow.
Yeah, it glows purple or some shit. I think that would be cool to see. It doesn't break the game for me by any means. It would just be a nice addition, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody likes good cosmetics.
Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to take away from the art team because the armor and weapons that they design,
look great.
The monsters they design, everything about this game is so damn good.
It's great. Which I guess you can't say they already put in cosmetic stuff because in the current DLC that they have for the game is just like a lot of cosmetic things. Just like they've got like announce or like voices you can change, new hair. I think they got some layered armors you can get in there too.
Layered armors,
some for your Palico and Palamute. I know they've got some of those in there.
And the armor pigments to change changed the color of your armor, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see, like, even if it's like something like you can get layered armor that make you look like Strider, and then make your Palico and Palamute look like his animal summons, like from the Strider games. Like, I'd take my money. Like,
What about Mega Man and Rush?
Yeah, put it in the game. Make it like a heavy bow gun or a light bow gun.
Yeah.
Layered armor. I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
My Palico already looks like Mega Man in World. Thank you.
World. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if they did a Resident Evil crossover, where they added the like the final stage nemesis, where he's like super huge and you have to hunt that down?
That'd be sick,
dude.
I'd be all for it.
That would be so good.
Like, I think even in this game, they added more starting areas than they did in World, which I thought was pretty cool. So like, who knows? They could even like add it as like a Resident Evil DLC, where it's like middle of Raccoon City. Like, why not?
Don't give me hope.
Special event. Boom. There you go.
Don't give me hope.
Hunt down final stage nemesis.
Oh my god, I'd be so happy.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, I think they have 4. They've got 4 different stages on this one. They have the forest, the desert, the swampy area, and then the lava caverns.
Volcano. Yeah.
So yeah,
which even these ones are like remixes of like pieces from old Monster Hunters. I don't know if you guys knew that, but yeah, they're like, they take bits and pieces from old Monster Hunters and kind of put them in this game, which is really cool. That's cool. Because I noticed in like the desert area from World, that desert, like part of that desert area is in Rise.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Same thing with like the swamp area. It has like some of that, the starter jungle area had some of those parts in that, which was super cool. But I'm hoping, I guess my thing would be, I hope they put in monsters that utilize the wire bugs a little more.
Okay.
So like maybe do more like vertical monsters, or like just make them bigger.
Godzilla crossover.
Godzilla crossover would be super sick. Make Gos Harag like massive. I don't know. But I think the wire bug just makes everything cool. Makes everything feel good. Yeah. And like the map traversal like feels really, really cool with them. But I think using them in a fight is what would make it even better of a game to me.
That's one of my favorite things, is using the switch skills in a fight. I know, especially with my build now, I feel like I can use it pretty often. So it's really satisfying using those wire bugs while in combat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping to see more not dragon monsters too. So
yeah,
we'll see. I think World had that problem where they just were like,
there's a lot of dragons.
You want more monsters? Here's a dragon. You want more monsters? Have another dragon. I want to see like bring back the crabs, like bring back more bugs. Like
all of the elder monsters were dragons, all of them in World.
Yeah, I'm trying to
think of a single one. I mean, I know they're elder dragons, but like I get what you're saying. Like, it'd be nice to have like an elder monster that's not a dragon. Like, what was the one thing, the big giant thing that you never actually fought? You were like on its back or whatever in World. You remember what I was talking? Starts with a Z.
Something.
Yes. Like it'd be neat to see something like that. Like I agree.
Yeah.
Like, that thing would have been. That thing's huge.
That's one of those siege things. I think that's where you get that name from.
It's
that's
like a siege. Yeah, it's like that type of thing. Yeah. But like that kind of monster, but fighting it like normally would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fighting its toe. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be even more reason to use the
and like you can like wire bug, and if you wire bug to the right spot, you like start running. You can like run up him and like
that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I think that basically it's like taking the siege, the siege from World to the next level, to where you're
it's like making it more personable.
Like you're able to go around. I know you went around to like different parts, kind
Zora
of.
Magdaros. There it is.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I see what you're saying though.
Like imagine if Trey uses bow guns, right? Like that's his thing. Like imagine Trey, like you do this, you get a wire bug, and you start running up the monster, and instead of like slicing it like I would do, like with a longbow, you like kick off of it And like you get like this moment where you can like I guess not freeze time, but it slows down time. You just like pump a ton of ammo into his face while you're up there before you fall back down.
Yeah.
Like, good time.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it'd be really cool. I hope they do that.
I do.
I hope they do multi-staged monsters too.
Ooh, yeah.
Like they did in World, because that was super dope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Felt very, very anime, but
It's a good time.
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah. Excited
I'm
for you
looking
guys
forward
to
to
see the last two
I might play that here in a minute, to be honest. I haven't played it in a
last two
minute.
bosses. I'm excited to see where the story goes as well. I know Monster Hunter isn't like about the story. Like you're fighting giant monsters. That's the story, but
They're causing
I guess
havoc.
Yeah, I guess I'm more excited to see like how this will introduce more monsters.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about. I will say, even at, not that this is a huge surprise, but even at rank 7, there's like a hidden part of the weapon tree.
Good.
So we know that with
nice.
this new DLC we'll keep unlocking more.
Yeah,
Good.
that'd be sick.
I'm
Yeah,
sure they'll add not only new monsters, but I'm sure they'll add the Apex versions of more as well.
Oh, yeah, very true.
Well, like you can get the G versions, of the monsters. It'd be really nice. Or gamma versions or whatever you want to call that they added in previous games. That's super cool. It's like they're just on steroids,
Savage
but
Devil
they have
Jail.
their own armor path as well. So it adds. Like there's tons that they can do. If they keep updating it like they do with World, we're in for a good treat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going. Just because it's on the Switch, so many people have it, and it's doing gangbusters right now, man. It's so good.
Well done, Capcom.
Well done. I think this also goes without saying, but Monster Hunter Rise definitely gets the FAM recommendation, stamp of approval. It is
Fame verified, whatever you want to call it.
It is FAM verified. It's got its check mark. I think one of the greatest things about it is that it's easy for anyone to jump into this.
Absolutely.
Whether it's your first Monster Hunter or not. Because I know KB played a little bit of World, but not a whole lot. But she's really been loving Rise as well. So it's something for whether it's your first one or you've played every single one in the series. This is one to pick up 100%.
Absolutely.
Do it up.
Yeah, man, it's just hard to put down. That's the only reason I'm thankful for new games coming out in the next couple weeks, is just because I can have an excuse to put down Monster Hunter. Because it's so tough to put down, man.
Yeah.
But again, excited to see more DLC for that in the coming months.
For sure.
Any closing remarks on Monster Hunter Rise before we wrap this review up?
Capcom, we love you. I hope you listen to our podcast. We love Resident Evil. Please put end stage final form Tyrant or final form Nemesis into the game as a bonus character. That's it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, absolutely. We love Resident Evil. Do all that things. Great game. Like seriously, pick it up. Phenomenal. My only tweak I'd really make if I had to be picky is make it to where if you're a single player person, hopefully we get high rank stuff in the single player stuff. But other than that, phenomenal game. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you put Laggy Cruise in the game, I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
That's it. That's all for me.
And that's the beauty of this game, is that since we already know that they're going to keep they're going to keep doing content for this game, we know that they have the ability to create more quality of life improvements and listen to the community for feedback. So I don't think anything's out of the question as far as like you mentioned with the single player hunter rank. But with that, thank you for listening to our review of Monster Hunter Rise. I'm honestly really excited to do more of these in the future with other games that we pick up.
Yeah.
I know myself, I've got some coming out next week that I'm excited to dive into.
Same.
There might be some other people on this podcast that pick up some of those too. Who knows? So maybe we can get together for some more of these reviews.
It's me. I'm other people.
Thanks for the support as always, no matter where you're listening, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, any other place. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be notified for the next episodes. leave us a comment, whether it's there or in Discord, on what you want to hear us review or discuss next. Drop us some fan mail if you want to hear us answer some questions. But until then, till our next episode, stay safe, take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Happy hunting.
Thanks for listening to FAMcast. Be sure to subscribe for the latest episodes and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and our other socials at For All Manakind.